gathered here today to remember those people that were lost at the recent shooting that happened in Santa Fe High School. I remember when this shooting happened, I thought, can I do another vigil? Can I come to another event? Can I still go in the streets and march and call for justice, to call for regulation, to call for legislation? It's hard because I've got to the point where I feel numb. We must not lose hope. We must not lose resolve. We must stand up in this face of violence. Trish Becker, I would like to introduce. As most of you know, I'm Trish is a gun violence survivor, and I think it's very hard for her to have this moment to talk about gun violence.
Hello, my name is Mia Cleary, and I'm a recent graduate of Ponte Vedra High School. Here we are again, back at the stand, but this time I'm not trying to make a bold political statement. I'm remembering the victims of yet another round of bullets. When did the simple act of being alive become a privilege in America? Going to school in America is just a lottery, except it's not one you want to win. You pray and hope you aren't one of the 7 kids in America killed every day by a gun. And on May 18th, 8 students woke up, went to school, and they joined the list of numbers that will likely leave our minds in a month. I'm here to help ensure that that won't happen. The 10th victim hits particularly close to home. Last year, I was an exchange student to Sweden. There are only a handful of high school exchange students who are willing to take the journey at such a young age, meaning those who do become a family regardless of their program. Sabika Sheikh was a member of my exchange family. For someone who is willing to give up parts of her own culture in order to assimilate is a great thing. Sabika will never get the feeling that I got when I got to run into my parents' arms at the airport coming home. Instead, she's in a coffin with thousands of Pakistan people watching her. Stay involved in people's lives and continue to make an impact in your community. If not for common gun sense, then for proper prevention and mental health care. It's been 3 months, and the most that my school has done is put a metal strip in front of a door to help lock it. There are 8 more kids who don't get to get their graduate diploma. And there are 2 other mothers and grandmothers who don't get to see their grandchildren graduate or their kids graduate. We can do better, and we know that.
The second that first shot rang out in the halls of Santa Fe High School, we failed as a society yet again. We failed as a democracy. We failed as a country. Because in this country, the most powerful on earth, kids have to fear for their lives in schools. Death is a possibility that confronts us at every corner, every time we see the flag at half-mast, and we are reminded that it was only luck that stopped our school from becoming the next tragic newspaper headline. It's time to put aside our differences and work for the common good, because we can't afford to allow this pattern to grow any further than it has. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about our lives and the very future of our country. Fight for your friends, your kids, your parents, your neighbors, and your country. Fight for the 96 innocent people who have their lives stolen from them by gun violence every day. Fight for those in impoverished minority communities who face this issue every day of their lives. Fight for the 50 women who die each month because of gun violence that stems from domestic abuse. Fight for the right of future generations to live. I don't want to hear about another school shooting. I go to school to learn, not hide from an active shooter. And I want to be able to feel confident in the future again, to know that my life and the lives of my classmates will be given the value that they deserve.
When our parents and teachers were growing up, they didn't have to deal with this. We have grown up on shootings and gun violence. Every month or so, we see a new tragedy. Us students, the ones being directly affected by this, are the ones with the loudest voices. We aren't able to vote yet, and your vote is one step closer to saving the lives of generations of students. To those that are my age or around that, pre-register to vote.
As we remember and as we bear witness to another tragedy in our country. I am from Orlando, and it was just 2 years ago just about 2 years ago, we're about to celebrate a tragic anniversary in Orlando where 49 people were gunned down by a very powerful weapon, a weapon of war, and nothing changed. Nothing happened. And then just a few months ago in our state in Parkland, we witnessed another incredible tragedy. But this time, I would argue that a group of students all across this state refuses to accept what I believe we all know is unacceptable. And we are beginning to see progress. It's not as fast as we would want, and it's not complete, and there is much to do. But I would compliment each one of you as I look across, and I've met some of you. These are the voices, these are the activists that are bringing strength to this time, to this moment. And I believe we can change things. You know, over the last 10 days, I've been all across the state of Florida on what has been a criminal justice tour, speaking out against mass incarceration and gun violence and private prisons and the death penalty and a number of things that I believe, and I believe you would think, are wrong about our state. And what I have learned everywhere I go is that there is a spirit in this moment, and it's largely being carried on the shoulders of high school students and college students and pastors, the faith community, and progressive activists that say we are going to use this moment to change the world, and that we can do that. We must be inspired by the people who have not made it in this moment and in this cultural challenge we're facing, to do it differently, to stand up and to demand that we can change our country and our state. I thank you for all of the ways that you are standing up, and I particularly thank this new generation that is giving courage to people like me who have to stand up to the NRA and who have to do things that are very, very difficult and uncomfortable. I say that I'm standing on their shoulders, not the other way around, and that's what it's going to take to change it. Thank you so much for having me tonight.